everybody, thank you for joining me today on my YouTube channel. I normally put a chatty video up on Sunday. I've been trying to keep to that. However, it's now the school holidays here in the UK, and so it's going to be a little bit more flexible with whether I put videos up on certain days, and I'm going to try to stick to getting at least 2 videos up a week, but they might be on all different days at different times, and they might not always necessarily be a chatty one depending on the circumstances of what's going on in the day and so forth. But today I thought I would have a look through some of this pile of paper pads. When I was deciding what to do today, I realised that one of the things I really don't use much of in my crafting now is paper. Now this is just a tiny bit of the paper stash that I have. Now this is not to say that these are not all full pads of paper by any stretch of the imagination. I have used bits and pieces out of them, but I have got an awful lot of paper, and really nice paper that I don't want to get rid of because it's too nice, but I do tend to nowadays make my own backgrounds of inks and stamping and stenciling, so I don't really use paper as much. But I've seen a lot of people doing the collage dolls, the collage fodder, and I thought, well, that might be a way to go with some of this paper because I don't want to waste it. So I thought we'd have a little look, because my paper pads do tend to be, I have to admit, mostly on the vintage side of things. So I have got like this set. This is Madame Parraud Do Crafts Paper Mania. This is from years ago. I've got packets. That's the 7 Dot Studio. That's beautiful paper. I have used quite a bit of that, to be honest. Chopped up. I like some of these you can actually chop up into sections because that's how they're divided. So they're quite handy. So that's the 7 Dots Writer's Block. I don't even know if they do these anymore. I've got a set of the indigo blue ones that they brought out a few years ago. So we've got mixed media card stacks. So we've got Emporium of Curiosities, Grand Tour, cartography, because I love anything with maps, and I'm not sure what the name of that one is, but it looks like it's like a writing type one. So I've got lots of those. Like I said, I have vintage. Then I have also got this one I bought it's from the Works. It wasn't very expensive, and it's like a foiled and colourful pad, so I thought I might use that one today. This one, I had a look on that. I bought this, I think it was in TK Maxx. It was $4.99, and it's DCWV, die cuts with a view, so it's a really good paper, but it's already sort of in a collage. You can see I have actually used a little bit of this pad, but it's got some beautiful images that I thought, as well as using the background, a lot of it's got glitter bits on and stuff, I could also cut out some of the birds, and here we've got fish on this one. So it's actually already a collage within itself. Oh, that's a really nice bird. So I've obviously cut that one out before, haven't I? Yes. And flowers, but it's already got that look. So by taking pieces of this, you're sort of already started those beautiful flowers. So I'm definitely going to be using that one and that one today. So I will put them on my lap. Then I've got like this one from Spellbinders. This was when all the media mixage bezels, which I've still got quite a lot of, I still do use them, came out, and these were paper pads that they brought out that you could cut, die cut. I don't think that one actually is from that paper pad. I'm not sure though. It might be, might not be, because I've just noticed it has got the hole. But that one's handy because you can cut all those like little tickets up and use those in collage very easily. But I liked this one because it has like all different bits, so you can cut the butterflies up. You can see there I die cut a heart bezel shape out that one. They're double-sided, so you've got all different bits you can cut up and you can use. They've made it, again, it's very collagey straight away. So like cards. So if you're into your junk journaling type things in vintage style, this side of, again, I don't know if this still is produced, because this was when Susan Lennart Casma worked with Spellbinders for media mixage. I think it then went to Ranger, and I'm not even sure now. I think they may have their own version. I'm not sure anymore. So, and I've got a couple of Prima ones. Oh, sorry if that made a really loud bang. So I've got this one, Bella Rouge. Again, this is old, but again, lots of vintage, but bits again already in that collagey style. And then I've got this one, which is very grungy background. So again, that bits of that to be torn up or cut up. And I've got a few different craftwork cards. I did get this one out because I thought it might go with the other really colourful ones, because it's got strawberries and flowers, and then some darker ones that are already, again, like you can cut out the bits out of the pages, so you're not just using it as a paper. And this is how I think I'm going to keep that one to the side as well, how I'm going to go with my paper pads, because they're not going to get used as full sheets of paper. I've then got some of this. This is paper. This shows you how old this is. This is a Stampin' Up paper. I used to be a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Oh, goodness knows. Well, my little boy's 9 now, and I must have done it when he was about 2. And I did it for a couple of years, but it wasn't really my thing. I'm not a very good, salesperson in terms of doing parties, so it wasn't for me. Put it that way. I'm sure lots of people really love it, but I like to use too many different things. But this was a paper selection that they had years and years ago, and it's quite a thin paper, so it's quite handy. So you got bits like with, it looks like book paper or a dictionary. It had bits that were like a graph paper or a ledger, and then it had these map ones. So it's, if you're not keen on the idea of tearing up actual books or maps, because you know it goes against grain review, then these sorts of papers, I mean, you can get lots of ones like this that are available, and it's done it for you, so you don't have to worry, because it's actually been produced for that reason. So I'm going to keep those bits, put those ones over there. So these are the ones I'm thinking of using. I used to have tons and tons of punches, and I have to admit I sold loads. I had loads of Stampin' Up punches, and I sold the majority of them. I kept the banner, because I just think it's just a handy little punch, and I have kept my corner rounder one. Not that I round corners very often, so I don't know why. But then I've got these 3 little, no, that's not so little, I think these were woodware ones, which I do keep hold of because they're just handy. Because although I do have dies, which is the reason I got rid of most of my punches, is because I use my dies if I want to cut out circles, but sometimes it is handy, like in this situation, if you just want to quickly cut a circle out to put on something. So those 2 are circles, and that one's like a little tiny flower, so I thought that might be quite nice. So I've got those, and then to work on, I was thinking either to make some tags that could then be sort of like collage tags to go in my journal, or I have got this tag journal book that I've made in the past. I have decorated a fair few of the pages up, actually. I was surprised. Some of them, then what I did was I sort of made backgrounds ready, but then there is that page, as you see, a tatty that is in the middle. That one I sprayed, but I could do that, or I could make some little tags, but I'm going to have them both here, because if I've got bits and pieces I can just put them in as I go. That's where the paper's also quite handy, because I was thinking where this is quite tatty in the middle, where I use some adhesive canvas to make it. It's a style of binding that I've seen a couple of people do. Suzanne Rose, who is on YouTube, and I've also watched Dina Wakely use it. I'm sure it comes from way back beyond that. I'm not sure where it originally comes from, but it's what you do, like tabs. But I also then wanted to fill in part of the spine, so I used some, not quite sure, I think that was that might be Jane Davenport media tape, but the others I've covered up with what I've done. I didn't mind the texture in the middle. That one I haven't, but I thought with the papers that might be quite nice. So I'm not sure, I'll leave it out. Well, I've got some little tags as well that I've already cut previously. So to stick my papers, I wasn't really sure. I do use Distress Collage Medium a lot. I do like this. I like collage mediums that are in a pot, I have to admit. I find it easier to stick my brush in and brush than to have ones where I squeeze it out. I do have the Liquitex matte medium, which if you've watched others of my videos you might see that I do use it. I do find that I squeeze too much out, whereas with this, because I take it on the brush, I always find that I get the right amount. Now that's good for quite lightweight papers. I'm not sure how good it will be with some of these heavier papers. So that's why I also got out my Pretty Gets Gritty Gel Medium, which is thicker than the Distress Collage Medium. So it might need a little squirt to water it down a little bit, but it's going to be better. It's more of a PVA consistency, so that might be what I use. I've also got my acrylic glue, and I have also got a glue stick which is quite quick and handy, so I'm not quite sure which ones will be suitable. So I'm just going to start, but I think just tearing some bits of paper. I'm going to start with a bit of, I've thrown them over there. I don't even know if I want them thrown over there, do I? I'm going to start with a bit of the book style paper. Just checking that right. I mean, it doesn't really matter if the writing's up the right way or not, but I am going to, because this one's a thinner one, I might use the Distress Collage Medium. It's a thicker collage medium than the Liquitex. The Liquitex I find is very runny, which is why I always end up sort of putting too much on. But it's still quite, you know, because this paper isn't as thick. Let's just, now I have no plan for this. I'm just going to stick some on and see where we go with it, as long as hopefully we're not taking obviously too long. We've got this one which is like a graph paper, which I do like a graph paper. I've got quite a few stamps now that are sort of a squared paper sort of style. I do like it. I don't want too much of this on here. Like I say, thank you for joining me today. If you have watched before, thank you very much for coming back, and if this is your first time, welcome. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you could click on that subscribe button, and if you could give the video a thumbs up if you enjoy it. That's always very welcome. And I always say as well that if you've got any comments, do please, you know, leave them. I'm going to have a bit of map in the not in the description box, in the comments, and I do always read them, and I will always answer as well. So let's have a little bit of map, and I think we'll move on to some colour, because otherwise it's going to end up being quite sort of black and well, it's not even black and white, is it? It's vintage tones, and I wanted it to be a bit more colourful really. So let's just, I may only get to the point of doing the background today, and if I do, then what I might do is then come back another week with finishing it off and how we finish these things off. So let's have a little look in this one. I'll try using the Distress Collage now. Let's have something. Now that's quite a nice one for just taking some bits. Oh, this is very thick. I'm wondering actually whether if I do some, stick some circles across, might be quite nice, wouldn't it? So do some all the different parts of the paper. Oop. Oh, that's a nice marbled bit there. Let's have 5 of those to start with. Let's see, I'm going to try and be quite random. I'm just going to put them down. Let's see, that might work, that glue. I could actually cut off the page, not off the screen. Sorry, didn't realise I'd gone totally off there, hadn't I? This is over there. Let's have some sort of coming in off the side. Try and remember to keep in the screen would be good. I'm not sure if that's going to stick, but let's just see. I think put that one there. that. And this matte medium, this distressed collage medium I should say, is a matte version, so it will dry, you know, matte. It does not dry glossy, and I found it quite easy to work over the top of. But if you was concerned, if you had a glossy medium or a medium that maybe wasn't suited for going over the top of, if you then put a coat of like transparent gesso, I don't like that there, let's put that there, then that would then make it workable if you wanted to use water-based products underneath, over the top even. Trying to talk and focus on putting these on. Right, so let's go that there. Let's leave that for the minute. I'm thinking of, where's that foily one? Sort of gone down a green sort of natural tone. I was going to go really bright, but ooh, I'm quite liking this. Now, depending on the way you tear paper, would depend on where you get your white. If you get like these sort of edges, so you sometimes need to do a little bit of experimentation of which way round you want to go with it. Oh, I'm quite liking that up there, so let's go with that. It's got, actually now I'm looking at it thinking we've got a bit of planets and space galaxy theme going on, haven't we? So, and at the end of the day, if you stick all this on and you say, oh, I'm not really keen, it's not turned out like I thought, I don't like it, then you can get your gesso and you can just pop it over the top. Because now I'm thinking that I might not actually do the whole, right, so if you look here, if I'm tearing that way, it's this bit that's going white, so you can, I quite like having those white bits. Yeah, so I might not cover the whole of the pages with collage. I may, that's not how I had that just now, but that's how I'm going to have it now. Oh, bit of blue there. Let's go another bit, a little bit here. And of course, all these bits that you're tearing from, just pop them in a envelope, not an envelope, you know, like a Polly Pocket or a folder or whatever you want to, and then just keep them for another time. That's not sticking there for the moment. At the moment, I have to say that I think that distress collage medium is holding that down. But I mean, I might put a little bit of white gesso over the top just to combine it all back together anyway. Let's go for a different one. Let's go for that stripy one. And then I might look through the other. Oops. Let's have some smaller parts. Because we want to perhaps fill in some of these little gaps. So although I'm not worried about doing the whole lot, I do want it to sort of have a fair bit of paper on it, otherwise it sort of defeats the point. So let's rip the edges. I'm not overly keen on the idea of having straight edges unless they are going to be on the edge of the page, and then I don't mind, obviously, because it saves me cutting them off. So if you did get bits dangling off, I would wait until it was totally dry. Say this from experience of trying to cut things when they're wet, and then you could just go around the edges and cut them off, wanting to cover a little bit of that bit where the stuff is down the middle. Let's get that one there. Right, I'm just going to make sure that does shut. Don't want to put things in places where I'm then going to block up. You do get a little bit of movement time as well with this, so it's quite handy. I think we need a little bit down here, don't we? So a bit more colour down there. If you don't want the white bits, tear the other way. Quite liking, yeah, a bit of colour in that corner. Put that there. Oops, it's slippy sliding around. Let me have a look up in the screen. I'm thinking about maybe a little bit more. I feel like I need something up here, but I might use something like my gelatos or something actually to colour that. And what I might do is, rather than waiting for that to dry, let's grab some gelatos. Let's get a little bit of gelatos are like a soft pigment stick. Now if I put some like that and then use this on my brush just to build a bit of colour in, it sort of winds up like a lipstick, so I'm not worried if it gets on there a bit, because I can just take the top part off. And if I'm really bothered, I might take a bit on my finger, and actually that works better. So I'm just taking, sorry, I was off screen again, wasn't I? Take a bit on my finger and just rub it into these areas. What colour is this? Let me have a look. I've got a feeling it's Margarita. I don't know why I think it's Margarita. I was right. It's sort of a very yellowy green. I never know. I sort of put it in with my yellows rather than my greens, but I think it's sort of, it's a limey sort of green. Pop a bit of that on there, and then we'll have a bit going down here as well. Now some of that there is still that tape and thing that's showing through, so might have to put something over that. What I might do is, I have got some collage, actual proper collage papers and some rice papers, and I might pop a little bit of that along the seam so that it just goes, it's not as hard as the tougher, you know, these papers, because these are actual proper papers, and then it will hopefully hide that in. Or actually the other thing I could add, thinking about it, that would be easier, is some washi tape. Now I did say it was a bit galaxy like. I've got this star one, so if I can find an end. Now washi tape is naturally made to come up again, so I am going to try not to get that in my medium. I'm going to use some of the medium to stick it down so it stays permanently. I don't want it to lift off. And then that, oops, I'll put it down, and then what I'll do is, when that is dry, I will cut off the bottom part. So just folding it in, just make sure that it is properly in there. And then what I might do is actually add a couple of little more bits in, just to tie it all together. So let's add a bit up here, maybe. Oops. I don't want to stick into my fingers. Sticky fingers. I always get really sticky fingers. And let's have a bit here where that plain area is. I don't know if you can hear that creaking. That's my chair. A very creaky chair. So that's that bit there. I'm just wondering whether to stick a little bit. A little bit there. And then just a bit on here, just to make sure that I've got equal going on. Quite like it going into the circles. Now I quite like that just as a background. I'll lift it up so you can see what we've done so far. Quite incoherent would be the word, sort of quite a mishmash of bits and pieces, but I'm going to give that a quick dry. So I'll turn the camera off for a moment while I dry it, and then I'll be straight back. Okay, so I've given it a dry. It's not entirely dry, I've sort of just taken the most off, and I'm going to use my same brush. I've got this Dina Wakley white gesso, and the reason I've chosen this one is because it literally is almost empty. So I thought I would just add just a little bit, so just not too much, dry brushing. Oops, which just shows you that is still wet. Just to try and tie some of these elements together a bit so they're not sort of as jarring. I mean, if you like, obviously, that it to be really contrasting and not all together as such, then you don't have to do this. You don't have to do anything in your art journaling. You do what you like, but I just like I just want to take that all back a little bit and just make it feel like it's one whole page rather than one whole unified project rather than lots of bits. So let's just add a little bit of that there. So that's just, in my mind, just knocked it back a bit, just tied it all together. And then I thought to then re-emphasize some of those elements. I've still got my gelatos here. I haven't got, these aren't all of them, I've got some more over there, but I was trying to think of bringing a colour out that was already in here. So actually, maybe I think gold might be too not dark enough. But I was going to go maybe round the circles a little bit. Oh, what's this one? This is cinnamon, so that sort of goes with those circles a little bit. So let's just put a little bit just around, just to, and then you can just blend it a little, just to give it a little bit of colour around those circles, just to make them stand out a little bit more. Sometimes when you're doing your art journey, you do things and you think, I'm not quite sure why I just did that, but at the end it's about the process. It's about just sitting and doing what you feel at the time, and sometimes that's what you need more than producing something at the end of it that you might go, wow, that's amazing. I mean, hopefully you would still say that, but it's being able to just sit and just take your mind off other things that maybe that are going on, or to get your feelings out. I don't tend to use my art journaling in that way. I just do it because I like the process of the art side of it. But if that's something that helps you, I mean, that's what it's ideal for as well. I'm just thinking I'm just going to take a little bit of that just around some of the edges a little bit, just to frame it a bit. Now these gelatos are a lot softer than, for example, Tim Holtz Distress crayons. They blend a bit easier, just without having to put anything with them, if you know what I mean. So rather than having to add water, you can blend them a lot easier just with your finger. So they are softer in that respect, but obviously you don't get the colours that you get with the Distress, but so whatever you prefer. I have both because I bought these ages ago and then they brought out Distress crayons. So there you go, that's that so far. Now I'm just thinking, just like some contrasting bits on. So I was thinking that I've got the purpley bit here. I was wondering whether to do some of the banners. I don't know, it might look terrible, but I'm just having a little go, see what it looks like. I love how they ping, it's quite funny. Some little things. A few of those. More than a few. I was just wondering whether they would look quite cute along with maybe coming in off the sides. Oh yeah, I think so, but I'm going to use my proper glue for this because this is now getting a little bit on the put that one down there, didn't I? And then I didn't even pick that one. I feel like I'm getting hemmed in by lots of stuff here. So I might do one, do a purpley one. I think my glue is getting a bit more towards the bottom. Maybe just do 3 on there, up there, and then 3 down there, just as a little bit of something different, isn't it? And then I might have a look and see what's in that paper. Oh, there was that lovely white bird. I might put that on there. Really, I need some leaves for it to sit amongst. I don't know what leaves I've got in there. So that's those 3 there. And let's go for 3 over here. And I'm not worried about what I'm covering up. I don't think to myself, oh, I can't stick that there because I've already put that washi tape there. I don't, you know, to me, it's just layers of texture, layers of interest. Let's go with that one. So we went pink, purple, pink. Now we're going purple, pink, purple. It sort of was and wasn't an actual conscious choice. I think it was a conscious choice, to be fair. So that's a little bit of those on there, just to add a little bit of extra. So again, like using your punches, using your dies. Your dies would be, if you're thinking about that, if I have leaf dies, which I have, but I could cut out some leaves to go with a bird, which I may still do. I've got this green here that I can also cut leaves out with, which I might do that in a moment. Let's first of all though find, where was that lovely bird? That one there, I'm thinking. Was it that one? No, it wasn't that one, was it? It was one I'd cut out previously. This one, lovely glittery bird. So let's find my small scissors. Got a telephone there. I'm going to try and avoid that fish, because if in the future I want to use that, then it will be, oh no, the whole word isn't there. I'm just wondering whether I'll see what I can do with that. Let's just get that bit cut first. So sometimes it's a case of looking at what's around it as well, that you could, see, although I really love that wording, I'm going to try and do that. It's a shame that that word's not fully on there, but it's not, so we'll leave it. We'll just move on past that. I'm sure I can find another sentiment or something that will fit with the idea of fly. So it's quite simple. This is it's quite glittery. So this page is going, these pages, I should say, this spread is just going to be everything that I can throw at it, isn't it? It's not been thought through at all. So we've got a bit of glitter, a bit of foiling, a bit of vintage, a bit of galaxy, but that's fine. Sometimes, as long as you are enjoying the process, and as I often say, art journaling is for you. If you're enjoying it, that's all that matters. It doesn't have to be seen by anybody. I mean, obviously if you want to show other people, then that's fine and lovely, and it's really nice to see other people's journaling. But if you don't want to, you don't have to. It's, you know, it's your journal. Don't show anybody. So I am going to think about now where he is. Decided it's a he. Now there's the, do have to consider things like, now I am wondering now whether the towel is going to have to go, because it needs to move to the side a bit more. I can't have it right over there. So I'm thinking I'm going to stick that down. You know, I'm thinking I can't be bothered to go and get my dies, so I'm wondering whether I could cut some different circles. Using my small punch to make like a little floor, and then cut some bigger circles, maybe using the same paper in the same circle size that I did for the original. Just have a couple of them. In fact, thinking about it, I was just thinking I could cut them to be leaf sort of shaped, but I'm thinking I'm going to put, could be eggs, they're sitting on the eggs, couldn't it? And then some of the little ones. So let's just stick these down. I'm just going to stick them down. I'm going to overthink at all, and this is sometimes, you know, there's a time when you do need to place and think and worry about how you're going to put something together, and then there is a time and a place for just sticking things down and just having fun. And that's what this page is. It is just playing. Some people don't like it and call it that, but at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with playing. I taught nursery children and primary children, so I know that playing is incredibly important. Let's go. Oh, I don't know. Let's think about where this is going to go. It's going to be over that, so it won't matter. But I've got 5. I really should have had 3 of the big ones. Now I'm really stuck, because let's move that one. Maybe move that one, and then that one there. And stick on the bird. And I think I'm going to have to, unfortunately, cut its tail off. Ooh. I do have a habit of cutting things off of things. It looks a little bit like a nest, doesn't it, with all its eggs in. And let's just, so turn the page over and then pop it off. Don't know where it went. There it is on my lap. There we go. That's the birdie sitting on its nest of eggs. So the only thing I'm going to add onto this now is I'm going to have a sentiment up there. So I'm going to grab, I have got sentiments. Oh, so this is the other thing I have, lots of bits of sentiments. Now, I want something that's going to stand out. But this is going to be, oh, I can see this one down. Now the paper I showed you earlier, the writer's block, this is the stickers that go with that. There's one here, fly above the words. Wow. That's just got to be on there, hasn't it? We might have another one. Fly above the words. Oh. Walk off the page. I might cut that. So that makes that. So let's put a bit of glue on that just to make sure that's going to stick down. So this is quite amazing because I have just created a journal spread with absolutely no stamping and no stenciling, which for me is incredibly unusual. But hopefully, you know, this encourages any of you to have a look at those paper packs that you don't use, that are sitting in a drawer like mine are, or on the top of a unit or something, or wherever they are, to actually have a little look and see, you know, what could you do with them? Could they be cut up? Could they be collage? Could they be main focal elements? And there we go. So there's my finished journal spread using mostly pieces of paper and some punches. But thank you very much for watching, and if you did enjoy, do please give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, give us a click on that subscribe button. I'm getting towards 500 subscribers, and when I get to 500 I'm hopefully going to do a giveaway. So if you can share the video around as well, and for people who think they would enjoy watching and would like to subscribe, not necessarily just for a prize, but you know, for to actually watch the videos, then that would be lovely. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.